MnangagWAR gets ugly as he is cornered by military veterans. We see calls by Geza for the ouster of the president ED. And then now today, we're seeing him being fired from the ruling party ZANU-PF. Now Geza being fired from ZANU-PF, does it hold any water? Since the war veterans were war veterans before ZANU-PF and other ZANUs.
I am deeply...
Geza is not the only one veteran caught up in this war, but we also see Senengamu humiliated at a press conference where a guy would show up claiming his 2 goats. How convenient. Why would one be claiming goats? Remember Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu. Yes, goats is a key word that drags attention. In fact, that affects or impacts anybody who would come across the story subconsciously.
Sorry, we replaced Mugabe with a monster, a Korokoza. It is us who gave you Mnangagwa. We put you in State House with the hope that you would reset our country on a path of recovery, respect the Constitution, and give our people hope. As soon as he had the taste of power, he escalated corruption, forgot the people, and remembered only his family. Mnangagwa is also surrendered state power to his wife and children. Vanhu vakavhoterwa shuwa havarari vachifunga kuti toita sei kuti tiomesere masi, because there are no jobs. People are working as vendors to feed their families. Civil servants are now civil slaves, working for peanuts. What kind of reward system do we have that does not recognize skill? What kind of witchcraft is that in all this madness?
Civil servants are now civil slaves, working for peanuts. And yes, we see a lot of toying where people are now acting like monkeys. We see various 20-30 stunts are being pulled in various areas as if these are political, can we say players, can we call them political donkeys, political toys that will be used to spread this message. We're seeing them now acting like primary school kids, like pamsoro yabereki twakomba kuitira presentation yedu ye 2030 zimwe ndingangopuwa a soft and tender yekuita nothing but just money. Anyways, we would see Senengamu at a press briefing where he is harassed. But before we go there, let us understand the plan these guys are planning for the 2030. It seems they have made a little bit of a shift. Now they are claiming this without the referendum. Remember, it's all about which laws you can twist. Now the amendment, who does the amendment? So, right now in Zimbabwe, everybody thinks that legislators can amend a constitution. A constitution, legislators as in parliamentarians cannot touch a constitution. It will be illegal. From the creation of the constitution, legislators do not play any part because the constitution is not a legislation. The constitution is that which makes legislators be, so they cannot go above it. As much as they uphold the constitution, the legislators are not actually the ones who should be upholding the constitution. We see the pillars of the state. We have the presidency or the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have the legislative, and we have the military, whose duty is to uphold the constitution. To uphold doesn't mean to amend it. The moment you are upholding, you are diminishing it. So, Who can amend the constitution? Me, the citizen, can, not the legislator. Big up to Lillian Mark, Jumisani Ngungu. Everybody's watching us live. To those watching us live, you can write a comment in the top chat or in the super chat. As I can just see a name so I can give you my shout out. So, as much as the people do put it in writing, it doesn't need, the law doesn't need to be written. Like you don't need to follow the law. The law, the written law is just guidelines. It's just guidelines, written guidelines. And the constitution is not a legislation. In fact, legislations should become null and void the moment the legislators who passed them are out of office. Now, what do they say here?
We're 12 years, 11 months, and 29 days. Zvinoreva kuti hongu constitution inofanira kuamendwa, asi kuamenda kweconstitution ndekwekuti president vakwanise kusvika muna 2030. Kusvika muna 2030 dzinoti gedye term limit provision yemapresident. Saka chiri kudiwa bedzi apa kupostpona maelections kusvika 2030. Hapana nyaya yekuti term limit iri kuindaviwa nayo. Resolution yakati gedye neterm limit provision. Hapana nyaya yekuti president vakubenefita neterm limit extension. Hapana term limit extension iripo. That is seimurawo panyaya iyi. So that kind of zvekutaura zvana referendum dzadzimwe nyaya iyi i-constitutional amendment kuona kuti isingadi referendum.
So now he's making it sound a little bit like the guys want to postpone the elections. You cannot postpone election in a democracy. A democracy is centered around elections. When we announce our so-called independence, it is because we were able to hold the 1980 elections. The moment you postponed the election, you have postponed independence. You cannot postpone the election, and we cannot elongate the lifeline of a government that is failing to uphold the rule of law. Why should we elongate that? So that is not possible. The guys are dreaming. They are dreaming, and those dreams will not come true. Big up to Temba Sibanda. Everybody's watching us live. Those watching us live, you can write your comments in the top chat and in the super chat. Why am I saying this? These are all facts we need to be posting everywhere so that this government knows that we are the generation. We are now in control. They played their part and they should just go. They should just go. Like go. Now, they call themselves constitutionalists when they fire a person just because a person is not against them, but a person is against unconstitutionalism. A person is against those who are against democracy, who want to suspend democracy. So, did we have the 1980 elections only that we can postpone the elections now? Postponed until when? There is no trust. Okay, trust nobody. Like a government is for the people, by the people. The people in government are not the only people who are people. Okay, so this is a democracy in a republican, not a demagoguery. In a republican, the individual, me, the individual me is a sovereign individual It doesn't matter if 600 people are against the sovereign individual. When we want to be speaking our voices, we do that in the ballot. Not Vox Populi, Vox Dei, the voice of the people. If we want to talk about the voice of the people, the crowd is always wrong. What does that Latin saying say? In fact, it is misinterpreted when they say the voice of the people is the voice of God. The voice of people, of a crowd, in mob psychology, in itself is a deity. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. That is what it means. Any Latin professor will agree with me. Not we who try to quote Shakespeare just because we saw him on a movie or we misinterpreted his book. No, that is wrong. The reality is the majority is always wrong. How do we do it? To make things fair, we establish a republic first when we are establishing states. Right? A nation is cultured, is not established. We Zimbabwean nationals, we identify ourselves as nationals, Zimbabwean nationals, right? We the people of this area, we are the nation. The nation is the people, like the members are the church, not the building, right? The building is the territory, terrain, where we see the military protects the nation, the people, not the government, the state. The government, the state does not exist. It is spiritual. We give them offices, things like that, to be administering. The government is like a software, right? Territorial integrity. Territorial integrity in an empire. It will be an emperor, right? It will be an emperor. Now we are not an empire. We don't have an emperor. Like when we see the Zimbabwe ruins, then we see the British Empire make us their cocoon or their own colony. Then we establish a state. I don't want to talk about the Islam state, but the Islam state is an example. It is a state without land. So this state, this government cannot change any law to extend its life. It will be a coup against the people. In whatever way, whichever interpretation, you can change and try to forge the constitution. Right? It will be forgery. Can you amend an oath of office? Thou shalt not use the name of the Lord in vain. Thou shalt not swear an oath and breach it. And God awards people accordingly to their works. Big up to Prosper Mtambo watching from Botswana, Douglas Ziggy live in South Africa there, Temba Sibanda. Big up. Lillian Mark watching from outer Botswana. How is it there? Enough respect to everybody who's watching us live. To those watching us live, do click the like button and do share this video. So we're seeing the war vets. They are speaking. And the one who speaks is victimized by who? Anyways, what do we see? We see more drama. As this MnangagWAR gets uglier and uglier.
Harassment. Yeah? Matuma. Imari. Matuma. Matuma.
Dati, wakashikamenesa mtalo.
No, it's okay.
The
The journalists are coming.
Don't come in.
This is Senengamo, a patriot who puts his own resources to address a oppressor. That is what we call patriotism. And this guy, that is animal behavior, monkey behavior, uncivilized behavior. Let's say Senengam really owes him 2 goats. Goats wouldn't start here, they would start with Dokora, a guy who failed our education system again. Yes, the goat idea was a good idea. If you are doing everything else correctly, okay. Not like to please the people with fake things, right? Like what we actually call mental masturbation, right? So I am here, the master debater, to debunk it all. That such behavior, when people will be in, who can't control themselves, who have poor self-control. Actually, this guy is a man. We can't call him a drama queen. That's why in the United States of America, where they'll be speaking their colloquial, they'll be calling these guys words like bitches, or the P word that ends with an Y, PU55Y, like that. A drama queen. This is what we call a histrionic person. So the guy is trying, I don't know how to calm down. Let me finish what I'm doing here. Right. He can be calmed down because his claim is what we call theatrics. I'm not talking theatrics in terms of theater. I'm talking theatrics in terms of politics. Not even the framing of a story that exists. This is theatrics, creating something that ain't. And when a person loses humanity to an extent of actual inflicting, they are no longer a human. They are now an evil spirit. They are now a demon, all about destruction. Yes, they have sold their soul, like for literal money, be it 30 pieces of silver or 30 pieces of gold, whatever. It is all worthless. For what do you gain if you gain everything else and you lose your soul? Nothing, because you are not there. Even if he does get 30 tons of gold, he will always be empty and miserable.
I'm going to say what I have not told you that. I have not.
To those watching us live, I want us to watch the body language of this guy. The body is where we have muscle memory, like our body, is where information in our DNA is written. When we read, the data is not stored in our brain, in our neurons. It is stored in our deoxyribonucleic acid. Like there is an actual nucleus and a nucleolus. Then there are ribosomes for the growth. Right? So this DNA, everything you do, if I take a strand of your hair, the information of the food you ate yesterday is there. The information of your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather is there in your DNA. All that information is there on just one part of you. Right? As we are active right now, we have our immune system, right, which protects us from externalities, because diseases are caused by lifestyle, not germs. Germs, viruses, they just eat away. It is a lifestyle. Now, body language speaks the truth. It's like the heart. We see the Bible writing as if people use their hearts. Now, the mouth can be speaking what is not in sync with truth, with the Holy Spirit. The person themselves, their immune system, their nervous system, their sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system will be communicating. One can actually make this guy manifest at that exact very. You don't need to know anything complicated. Naturally, you can interpret it. Anybody can.
Do you know what?
To put this into perspective, these are just hands, right? These are just hands. Our body is governed by the laws. It is written, right? Humans are human in their design. The earth is the earth in its design. What is doing there? We can call them just hands or joker poses. Take note of the word joker. Now think of mimes. Mimes, the guys who will be painting their faces white and the red round nose. I can't really refer to Zimbabwean Ajigija because we just hakisha the culture, not knowing what the culture is about. We just playing cards, but we don't know what a joker represents in that story that would be told there, like the origin. What is the moral of the story? Yes, we can synchronize things to tell another story in context, but the context of the origin, the language is exposing himself. This guy is calling for a beating, a physical beating. That is why he is invading a person's personal space, pointing fingers. When you are at a board, you are a teacher, you hold a stick. A stick is to extend your finger, like the one we see represented in artworks where we see witches will be holding wands, right? So a figure of authority holds a stick not to beat people, because anyways, people no longer get strokes from the courts. The stick is just like a finger. It doesn't represent authority. It's a joker pose. It's a joker pose. It's a deliberate infliction. You want to incite. So by the moment one is inciting, they are already in sin. They are already in crime. We don't know their intention. So it's just conspiracy. Like conspiracy is the crime.
Do you know? Who's out there to diplomatic passports? So why are you disturbing my press? I know nothing about it.
Why are you disturbing my peace? The human social contract, that which makes us human. Our Father who art in heaven, forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. What is to trespass? So what this person is doing is barbaric, uncivilized. He should just move out of civilization, and amending the constitution to extend to 2030 is a treason.
Auchanizivi.
I don't know. Who are you?
Auchanizivi.
Who are you?
Iyo pakati pakandichikakudza mutu.
Who are you?
Ndati pakati pakandichikakudza.
I'm asking you, who are you? Zvaurikuita
Chitongokuita sei iwe uchirambidzangu.
Chitongo akambozviita tiri pamedia center. Musi wanga MnangagWAR is the preferred successor. That was in February 2017. Akanga atuma conference yandakanga ndichiita. And because they know kuti nhasi ndandiri kutaura zvandinotaura, they have to send this guy.
So what we see, if I play this one with no audio from the start, let's say if it's happening in real time, you're just watching from afar, you are seeing people in a scuffle, in a raffle, right? The usual notion, which is not a notion, before people think when they see people in a fight, usually the wrong person is the one who is being held by the collar, who is usually the victim. Usually, the one who is the loudest is the one that is perceived to be correct before people start thinking. And that is correct because non-thinking, senseless should resonate with senseless. With the passage of time, depending on our lifespan, these cycles would continue because of generational gaps. Now, because of television and records, some generational gaps have been bridged. We know this is theatrics because of education. We now know when people are doing this, what they are really doing is what they are really doing. It is never about what it is about, but it is always about what it is about. When a person is doing what they are doing what they are doing. Even if they seem to be doing something else, we don't listen to the words as they are. We get the morale of the story. What is the story? Right? The hare went to Harare CBD. We concentrate on the words that the hare, the rabbit, went to town. We don't get the story that a hare traveled to Harare CBD in spite of the words. What we're talking about is something in this syntax that travels to Harare CBD. We are establishing. We concentrate on the words, not on the sense. In literature, people would be reading books like Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Then, or the story of Oliver Twist. This story is talking about this. This story is talking about a boy who wants to look for his father in South Africa. But what is the story saying? Then when we will be analyzing in literature, it's another story. These are basic skills, but we forget because we live not in the physical, we live in the delusional, mass mental side. Because we want to fit in. Fit in where? Fit in with who? If we had a popular culture that we culture to be good, then we would be going somewhere. If we are going to create propaganda that is beneficial, that would be good. We create destructive propaganda. So because of education, because of passage of information from one generation to another generation, right now, the devil's operating system is outdated. These methods no longer work, and they will never ever work again. So we may call it emotional intelligence, humanity, politics, many blood sucking, and it is what it is. It is all about the spiritus. It is all about emotional intelligence. They change it, they call it political intelligence. So we are here to bring the message, because once it is spoken, it is spoken. The Constitution cannot be amended by legislators. My legislators are not going to legislation. When they want to be changing the constitution, they are becoming too small-headed. It doesn't make sense. You have to involve the judiciary. You have to involve the actual nation, like the people who supposedly did give you that power. Who supposedly, yes, you can actually rig a system. I'm on live. You're not my friend. Don't enter my yard. At Scooter. All right, enough respect to everybody who's watching us live. A guy, they're trying to disturb me when I'm on a live video. I don't know if they are inconsiderate or it is another theatrical act, right? So we don't smile to such people trying to fit in their own narrative, right? So it does happen, but there are nobodies who can do nothing. So, once again, the devil is in trouble by whichever name. The devil is just a job description. We create these words to fit our understanding. In the Bible, God is asked who your name is. I am the I am that I am. It is not his name. Me, I'm not Clarence. It's my government name. Who do I mean when I say me? Me, when I speak to myself or when I refer to myself, I don't even call myself by my name because I am me. Then another person may knock on the door. Ndiani, and they answer Ndini. When you answer Ndini, do you even put that to your conscious brain? Now, when we do break barriers and boundaries, it is all spiritual real estate we can tap into. Every victory that would be won from the victory of Abraham, the father of nations, of generations, the one in whose bosom we now reside. We reside in Abraham's bosom. Going to the likes of Daniel, every of their victories we can tap into. That is how we get eternal life, through tapping into the victory of this guy who says, when you see the Father, you have seen me, etc. We are joint heirs in the kingdom. You know the guy, like who gets sold by, what's the name? Judas Iscariot. Right, so Judas is dead. Jesus is not dead. Yes, death couldn't contain him because he was just. It was just. So Jesus didn't actually die. Judas actually sold himself. And yes, that story continues as long as we are. So we just observe, watch, and learn as we improve things, as we continue to be victorious. A victory that is already won is won. Same applies for the Lucifer or for the liar. How does the demon or the Lucifer ride on people? They would be claiming real estate on you, on your person, on your body. Keep your body holy. For it is what? The temple of who? So when you don't have that, who can come and ride you? We go back to the book of Genesis in the garden. We hear God. Ashida is Adam. Adam. Man, where you at? I can't find you, man. Adam is hiding. How can you hide from God? How can you hide from God? So if you can hide from God, where is He? In this symposium, on this stage we are right now, if one can hide, how do you hide from God? It's a decision. Where do you make decisions? Do you have any human antenna? Are we not physical as we are? Are we not spiritual? With that, I do sign out.